to the Pistons tonight. But in a game, you got the two of the top 4 teams in the Eastern Conference standings. And again, with only 25 games to go, now 24 games left in the season, this was a signature win for the Pistons against a Cleveland team they're going to be facing here in another 4 days. We'll do it again. But if it's anything like tonight, incredible atmosphere. You can see some of the storylines in this one. Again, it came down to the absolute wire. This gym was incredible atmosphere. And in the end, it is Detroit who gets it done. All right, let's bring everybody on camera here because
it was a hot gym.
It was a hot gym. I was going to say it. It was a hot gym tonight. Dwayne Casey's not here right now. But just from a standpoint, Cade fouls out in this game. Jared Allen ended up fouling out in overtime. Duncan Robinson fouled out. There was so many storylines. There was so much that went down. Obviously, Jalen Duren's night. We'll get into that. Hope to hear from him momentarily. But just your overall thoughts. You've seen a lot of NBA games.
Yeah.
This is a regular season game, and I know a lot of people say, like, man, playoff type atmosphere. But this atmosphere was electric.
Well, when you talk about winning the game, 2 things stood out to me, Johnny. First of all, 6 of 27, the Pistons shot from the three-point line. You're not going to win many basketball games if you shoot that bad. However, my statement that I typically make is if you control the glass, you have an opportunity to control the game. The Pistons had 55 rebounds tonight, 21 of those on the offensive end of the floor. So listen, so if you shoot that bad, there's an opportunities to get offensive rebounds, and the Pistons got 21 of those. That's the game to me. Yeah. When you get that many offensive rebounds, you create second chance opportunities, and the Pistons were able to capitalize on those, even though they were dismal from the three-point line.
Yeah, a lot of different ways to win in this league. Again, depth wins at this level. Pistons showcased it tonight. And again, down the stretch, they had to lean on some different guys. Danis Jenkins, who we heard from just before the break. What can you say? I mean, what can you say about, again, just the ice water? Obviously, the game time free throws, inside 5 seconds of play in regulation to get us to OT. But there's just like, you got to have a little moxie in your game, right? You got to believe you belong, and you can't get tight. The collar can't get tight when the game's on the line, and he didn't.
Listen, if you talk to Danis for more than 5 minutes, you understand the guy is loaded with confidence. Yeah. He's strong in his faith, and when he stepped to the line, I had no doubt that he was going to make all 3 of those. Calm, cool, and collected. Got a lot of confidence and got a lot of faith in who he is. And I think that's what we saw when he went to the free throw line and presented those 3 free throw shots that went straight through.
To get
to the challenge, Pistons end up winning that one.
It's huge.
That sealed the fate right there.
Yeah, big block shot on the other end. If you're going to play, if you're going to start for this team, the Pistons, you got to be a two-way player. Danis Jenkins is that. All right, let's get to the overtime session, our Xfinity highlights, because once it got to OT, when he made that, when he makes the 3rd free throw, ties it up, then they get a stop at the other end. Then you get to OT, and you always feel like, especially in the college game, you always feel like once you get to overtime, it's like you already knew. Like you already knew, because the wave of momentum had pushed so much. Pistons race out to the first 6 points in that overtime frame. Now, they didn't run away with it.
No.
Obviously, a credit to Cleveland, and they're going to hurt you with their perimeter shooting. But in OT, they did enough not having Cade Cunningham on the floor.
And the rebounding, as I said, 21 offensive rebounds, 55-41 was the advantage the Pistons took on the glass. To me, ultimately, that controlled the game, gave the Pistons the opportunity to win. The final salvo there by Bagley. Pistons all over it. They secure the rebound, and they go home with the victory.
Yeah, big-time stuff. Before the game, we were talking with JB Bickerstaff, and he apologized because he didn't have a voice.
Right.
Like a bit of laryngitis. Now, after 53 minutes of action, we're going to see what that voice sounds like now. But I obviously got to be pleased with the grit, the fight that his team showed here tonight. Let's hear from JB Bickerstaff. Coach's post-game remarks brought to you by Glassman Automotive.
JB, what did that final stretch from the end of regulation through overtime reveal about your group tonight?
I don't think it revealed anything, right? I think that's who we've been, and our guys continue to show up when their number's called.
In a moment that big for Danis to be at the line, hit all 3, I mean, just the poise that a young player shows in that moment to you.
I mean, he's been mature, you know what I mean? Like, I hate to say that, but it's not surprising anymore what he's done. When his number's been called, whatever the moment's been, he showed up, and he's been productive for us and effective for us.
Tonight was Duren's 4th straight game with 25 plus. Obviously, he had big plays on both ends after Cade fouled out. What have you seen from him just from a assertiveness standpoint this past week, and him stepping up and understanding what he can do to opposing defenses?
I mean, I think it's that moment where you figure it out, right? And all the things just come together, and I think they're coming together for him. The game slowed down for him. his understanding the spacing and when to attack, like all those things have slowed down and given him opportunities.
Although you ended up changing the rotation a little bit tonight by giving Marcus Sasser a chance, how did he impact this game that went beyond what we see on the box score?
His defense, his energy, his ability to space the floor. I think it's just like that next man up mentality, but there's a juice that comes with it. And I thought he brought that tonight.
You've mentioned since media day that y'all kind of challenged JD over the summer to be able to expand his game a bit more, and you just mentioned he's kind of figuring it out. Did you expect it to happen this fast?
The work that he put in is paying off, and that's all I can say.
JB, you said you've seen this from your team before, but you're down by 8 or 9, and Cade goes out, fouled out. So have you seen that with the final 2 minutes with everybody else?
That was 9 games we were playing with him.
Well, it worked.
Yeah, no. Again, it's moment to moment, time by time. Collectively, the guys rise to the occasion. And, you lose Cade, obviously that hurts. You lose Duncan, that hurts. But we're, like we keep saying, we're deep, and we trust the guys we have on the floor that they can go out and make plays. And they did that again tonight.
Welcome everybody back on. You guys didn't hear this, but if you're watching the game tonight, you heard the horn. There's a play to the final horn. That horn was sounding for I don't know how long it was, like 15 minutes or something. Anyway, how long? 12 minutes.
Somebody had to pull the plug on it to get it to stop.
They just punched it again. Rattled our cage a little bit. All right, you heard JB Biggers, and you learn a lot, obviously, about a coach and you talk about confidence, like in a guy like Danis Jenkins. It's like the confidence that JB has. He wasn't in there wearing a smile ear to ear. It was like, we did what we were supposed to do. We handled our business. It wasn't pretty at times, but it wasn't surprising to him because of the mettle that his team showed tonight. And he was asked about Jalen Duren. We'll make him our Cure Auto Player of the Game. Third 30-15 game of his career. We were already talking about the numbers over the last 3 games since he came back from 2-game suspension.
Sure.
Teams can't do anything with him right now. This is, I think he's the best. I think he's the best big in the Eastern Conference right now.
Johnny, you have to get a whole lot of evidence to prove otherwise. And this guy tonight made it special because he was up against 2 of the premier defenders in the NBA in Bagley and Jared Allen. And he made his way to the basket time and time again. He was a force near the rim. He rebounded well. He played solid defense. Jared Allen fouled out, as a matter of fact, trying to defend Jalen Duren. This guy has come such a long way and still has a tremendous way to go to reach his ceiling, if there is any. But the way that he continues to play and hold himself accountable to be available and present in every game for this Piston team certainly is worth us talking about, Johnny, because I think that's the biggest improvement from this year, or from last year to this year, is that he told himself that he wanted to be present on this team and wanted to be responsible enough to have that. A lot of players, let me back up, a lot of players